Rich Eisen from the NFL Network, also the Rich Eisen Show. You can watch on DirecTV's Audience, Channel 239, coming up top of the hour. And Rich joins us now. How surprising was that trade?
Surprising because Chip Kelly thought Maria Conchita Alonso went to the Oregon Duck system as well, Dan, and that's who he thought he was acquiring. It's very strange. It's anybody he thinks it's associated with Oregon. He's just getting them all.
Okay, does he get Marcus Mariota?
Maria Conchita, whatever.
Does he get Marcus Mariota?
Agent Alonzo Mosley, all of them. They're coming.
That was Midnight Run, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just dropping many reps.
Oh, no, I got it.
Midnight Run, and the run, running is what.
Wait. When did you become Dennis Miller here?
What? What do you mean? When did I become
Maria
Dennis
Conchita
Miller?
Alonso? Bang.
Bad. No.
Okay.
Right.
Does Chip Kelly
Yes.
go after Marcus Mariota?
There's no way he goes after him. He can't afford it, Dan. The Redskins set the market on what it costs to trade up to draft a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback number 2 overall. And it's too expensive. What, are the Eagles going to mortgage their future for the next 2 years to go get a guy that I think Chip Kelly might be enamored by or with, but I think that everything has proven in the first couple of years of his tenure in Philadelphia is that this offense is the star, the system is the star, and creates the $10 million a year receivers, creates the quarterbacks to be paid, I guess, a certain rate, but not, I don't think you'll ever, if this is a successful system and his tenure is successful, I don't think you'll ever see a $20 million a year quarterback in that system. You just won't. So why would they go ahead and trade all of these picks that it would have to get up to 2? Now, if Mariota somehow begins to drop in the draft, I mean, I see some mock drafts out there that have him going 10th overall to the Rams. Wow. Maybe the Rams would be open for business there, and they could get up just 10 spots, but 18 spots, I think, is a pipe dream, an absolute pipe dream for the Eagles to go up and get there.
Well, I didn't know if you're going to trade LaShawn McCoy and get draft picks to then fortify your bid to try to move up a little bit higher. You got to be probably, I thought, in the top 5 if you're going to get him. They want to make sure they get him if that would be the case. But you're right, if you're going to give up all those number ones and future number ones, like the Redskins.
Yeah, the Redskins moved up from 7 to 2 and trade out and coughed up all those number ones. So, I mean, if the Titans are sitting there and somebody's knocking on their door for 20th overall, I mean, I can't even imagine what that would cost the Eagles in draft picks. And as you point out, they didn't get draft picks in this trade. They went ahead and just a rare old player-for-player swap that you hardly even see more even in baseball. Normally it's like cash considerations, a third team that comes in, players to be named later. You rarely just see one for one, like it's a trading card, and that's what happened. And obviously the Eagles saved a ton of money in cap room, and I don't know who they're going to go with. I mean, 20th overall can get them a pretty damn good running back if they want to use a first-round draft choice on one. I proffer to say they wouldn't, but because you can get good guys in the second, third round. I've been seen in the last couple of years. So I don't know what Kelly plans to do on that front, but clearly he didn't want LaShawn McCoy anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah, but not at that number either. And I don't think LaShawn McCoy wanted Chip Kelly either. I think it was a mutual
Yeah, I
party
mean,
there.
I've got LaDainian Tomlinson as my first guest today, and he said on NFL Network last night he spoke to LaShawn, and there had been some friction going on there, and his running style wasn't really Chip Kelly's tempo, in a way, to use the whiplash phrase, and clearly Chip Kelly is the conductor there. He is the guy who's shopping for the groceries. He is the guy who's choosing them all, and I know he's the 9th Oregon Duck, Kiko Alonso, to be on his team, and everyone's having their fun, but it certainly sets up for a great storyline for the draft, for training camp, for the season. And if it doesn't work out for the Eagles this year, then Chip Kelly will have gone to the playoffs once in his first 3 years, and everyone will say it was with Andy Reid's players, who he has since gotten rid of. So there's a lot on the line, a lot being pushed to the center of the table, to use the fossil vernacular. And I, for one, am just pumped up about it because it's a great thing to keep an eye on moving forward.
He's Rich Eisen from the NFL Network, The Rich Eisen Show, on DirecTV's Audience, Channel 239. We've talked about Curt Schilling yesterday and what he did defending his daughter and went after these guys on Twitter. But I remember you had the CEO of Twitter on recently, and I was wondering about security or how they police Twitter. Are there any rules, any game plan that Twitter has to police Twitter a little bit more stringently?
Well, you're referring to Dick Costello, the CEO of Twitter, he was on February 13th on the show, and he mentioned how that they are going to move forward with far more stringent guidelines. Now, they haven't put too many public meat on those bones yet. One of my guests today is their VP, their head of policy communications, a gentleman named New Wexler, who's going to come on, and I'm going to quiz him on all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It just is, because I know Curt came on your show yesterday and said he was told by Twitter that the comments that were made towards his daughter were, in their mind, in bounds to say on Twitter.
Yeah.
Now, I find that hard to believe, to be honest with you, that could be considered within bounds. That there are ways when you see this on Twitter, you can report this behavior and click on abusive language, and you get an email from Twitter saying we're looking into it. And those accounts were deactivated pretty much on the spot. Now, I don't know if the people who Schilling called out deactivated themselves. Twitter doesn't comment specifically on anybody's accounts. That's part of their policy. They don't talk about specifics. So, again, this Twitter executive who's coming on today will not talk specifically about Schilling's account, but exactly what you're talking about. And as far as the backlash that's come, where people think that he's ruined these kids' lives, it is the responsibility of people when they go on Twitter to know that words have repercussions in this world. Just because you hit send on whatever your device you're tweeting on, wherever you are, if you're in your car, wherever the hell you are, by yourself or whatever, you're putting this stuff out there. And nobody thinks when you're tweeting somebody like Curt Schilling that he's going to take it personally and he's going to use his resources to come find you and make an example of you. And that's the repercussions, bringing real-time responsibility and repercussions to people who tweet in real time and don't think there's anything that comes from hitting the send button.
I also had people...
I applaud what Curt Schilling did. That's what I said at the top of my show yesterday, and that we are all sort of on the front lines here as parents or if coaches of teams. You should know what your players are tweeting out, certainly if the name on the front of the jersey represents you too. And employers. I'm sure, Dan, if you had a Twitter account, a personal Twitter account, there'd be people in management monitoring what you're saying just to make sure that you're not stepping over the line. Everybody does that in this business world. So a bravo to Schilling to sort of twigilante justice, to go out there and bring some spotlight to these trolls. And if they get fired from their gig or they get booted from their campus, suspended, well, guess what? You shouldn't have been doing that sort of stupid crap to begin with.
I had people say, well, what about First Amendment? Hey, what about freedom of speech? And I said, you get the freedom to be able to go on Twitter. You can write whatever or tweet whatever you want. That doesn't mean you're free from ramifications. The freedom of speech is about government. That we get the opportunity to do this. It doesn't mean you get to say whatever you want to say and there's no repercussions. Schilling's, this is bullying. If you take Schilling out of it and it's just a dad defending his daughter and remove Schilling from it, then that's where we get to the core of this. And it's not Schilling, celebrity, and because he's a celebrity, he got to go after these people and he's now the story. It's just a dad defending his daughter, and he went after the perpetrators there, and they paid the price. That's it.
and they're paying a price. They're paying a price, and part of what Twitter also, Dick Costello said that Twitter and Google have made an arrangement, and again we're still waiting to see what that arrangement means. But it will become easier to Google somebody and find their tweets. It'll pop up just like anything else in a Google search for you. So these tweets will live on. They will be attached to your name.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, if I'm a future employer in this world, I will definitely look at what you are doing. Now, I'm just hoping that employers won't look at it and say, well, your political beliefs or philosophical beliefs are different from mine, so I'm not hiring you now.
True.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
But I'm looking to see, are you the type of person to tweet that sort of garbage out at Kurt Schilling when he's trying to fet his daughter's achievement? Then I will have a problem hiring you. And I don't have a problem with that actually lasting. There should be some form of responsibility that you take when you are tweeting something out or putting anything on social media.
He's Rich Eisen from the NFL Network. His show at the top of the hour on DirecTV's Audience Network with LaDainian Tomlinson joining him as his first guest. Rich, good to chat with you again, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, DP, take care.
All right, Rich Eisen.